Rita and Andre first met as students in New York City. She was a nursing student, serious, organized, with a fire for success. He was a dreamer from Spanish Town, studying construction management, working nights as a security guard. They were just two immigrants trying to survive the cold city. Rita admired Andre's ambition. He talks about returning home one day to build houses across Jamaica. And Andre admired her discipline, how she sent money to her mother in Montego Bay every month without fail. Love came naturally. Marriage soon followed. Together they hustled, saved, and sacrificed. After 20 years, they decided to go back home. Rita opened a private health clinic in Montego Bay, and Andre a construction firm. On the outside, they were the perfect story. But every fairy tale has shadows, and Rita was about to find hers. It started one evening, a simple call. Rita's day had been long, patience, paperwork, exhaustion. She looked forward to Andre's mandatory call on his way home. He preferred to decompress and get the issues of the day off his chest with her before he entered their sanctuary. After their "see you shortly's," silence lingered. Then came a sound, a laugh, a woman's laugh, light, flirtatious, nervous. Rita's hand froze over the end button. Her heart skipped a beat. "Andre? Where you there?" she asked softly. There was a long pause, then his voice. Too calm, too detached. "Still there at work, babe. Meeting." But the laugh in the background told a different story. The silence between his words told the truth that she wasn't ready to face. That night when he got home, Rita played her part, smiling, listening, laughing at his jokes. She moved like an accomplished actress on stage, wowing her audience and determined to not reveal the turmoil roiling within. Andre, oblivious, leaned back, boasting to her about a new contract and sipping his drink like a man untouchable. But inside, Rita's heart raced. Every gesture, every glance, now seemed suspicious to her. She studied his phone when it buzzed on the counter and noticed, for the first time, that he picked it up too quickly, turned the screen away too neatly, too practiced, too proficiently. She said nothing. She waited. And when midnight came, as Andre snored deeply beside her, Rita reached for the phone. The code was easy. It was their son's birthday. And just like that, her world cracked wide open. Message threads with one name, Angelica. Countless texts, affectionate words, complaints about Rita, promises of weekends together, and then pictures, videos, voice notes. Rita's breath caught, not in anger or despair, just a hollow, icy freeze. She didn't break down, though. She pulled herself together, sharp, cold. The next morning, Andre kissed her cheek distractedly and rushed off, his phone buzzing. She smiled faintly, already plotting. She called her friend Marcia and arranged to meet with her in Kingston. Her best friend from childhood, she was now a lawyer, and they met at a small cafe near the waterfront. Rita leaned in, her voice barely above a whisper. "Marcia, I need to get some documents together, everything pertaining to our lives. All the business contracts, all the contacts, everything about the houses, all our accounts, everything. I need an expeditious, discreet, complete forensic audit." Marcia's eyes narrowed. She didn't ask why. She didn't have to. She somehow already knew. Within days, Rita had everything: copies of property deeds, bank statements, even evidence that Andre had transferred an apartment and varying sums of money to Angelica. Andre, meanwhile, carried on with his double life, sending Rita "I love you" texts while telling Angelica she was his real queen. But Rita wasn't just watching and waiting, she was fretting. She was prepping. She chose the battleground carefully, their favorite restaurant in Kingston. Andre arrived smiling, thinking the evening was a romance reborn, even though he hadn't driven up from Montego Bay with her because he had a late meeting. He ordered her favorite dishes, told jokes, poured wine, and he raised his glass to an elaborate toast. "To us," he began. Rita raised hers, eyes unblinking, and cut him off. "No, baby. To the truth." Something about her tone froze Andre. The word struck harder than a slap. His hand trembled slightly as he set the glass down. Rita leaned in, her voice calm, razor sharp. "Me know everything, Andre. Every message, every picture, every trip, every lie." The color drained from his face, his smile collapsed. He stuttered, searching for excuses. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about." She said, "Angelica." "Oh, she's just a friend, you know? You're overreacting, but..." His voice shook, his eyes darted. He looked like a man stripped of his mask. Her composure unsettled him, and she slid a folder across the table. Documents, property and bank transfers, messages, proof. His mouth went dry, but she didn't scream, she didn't cry. She simply whispered, "The truth always comes out, and you know my one deal breaker. And now, we're done." Rita was calm, too calm, her countenance like the eye of a storm that had already passed. She stood, leaned close, and whispered to him, "Andre, my love, we're not gonna quarrel, we're not gonna fight. I'm done. I'm done with your lies. I'm done with your double life. Tonight, at your dead yard, because tomorrow, I'm gonna bury you." And then she walked out and left him sitting there, surrounded by candlelight and guilt. That night when she arrived home, she took some necessities and retreated to one of their guest rooms. Andre came in late, reeking of liquor. He knocked, he begged, he pleaded, but Rita maintained her stoic silence. By the time he awoke the next morning, she was gone, and he was alone. The whispers spread quickly. Clients, workers, even random people started to talk. Andre, once respected as a family man, was now branded careless and weak. Angelica, bold with what she thought her new role should be, began showing up everywhere she knew he would be, just so she could be seen with him. But soon, her smiles became shallow. Business slowed, partnerships dried up. Andre realized betrayal was costing him more than a marriage. It was costing him his reputation. He had conveniently forgotten that there are some people that operate on fundamental principles, one of which is to not knowingly engage in business with men who cheat on their wives. Rita, on the other hand, grew stronger. The same discipline that carried her through the rigors of nursing in New York City as a naive young lady, now guided her through heartbreak. She expanded her clinic, started a community health outreach program, and found new purpose. For the first time in years, she felt light, unburdened. Her friends rallied around her. People respected her resilience. She wasn't just Andre's wife anymore. She was Rita Clark, a woman who survived betrayal, a woman who confronted heartbreak and stepped higher. As Rita flourished, Andre faltered. His contract slipped through his fingers. Investors no longer trusted him. And Angelica, she grew tired of promises unfulfilled. Without Rita's steady hand, Andre was no longer a king. He was a mere man scrambling to keep up. Soon, Angelica was plotting her escape. Rita's husband was the man who she'd architected a future with. This Andre had no light, no swag, and the money had quickly dwindled to a trickle because the bank accounts were marital property, and he had to account for every cent that he spent amidst the divorce proceedings. One evening, she texted him that she was done and to not come back to her apartment because she was moving on and she did not want to see him again. Andre was left with nothing but silence and regret. Though initially reeling from Andre's betrayal, Rita realized that there was a gift: her freedom. She had built once as a young immigrant in a strange land, and now she had the opportunity to build again as a learned woman in her homeland. This time, though, not for a man, but for herself. Andre's downfall was his own, and Rita's rebirth was hers. And so, in the land they both returned to build and live their dreams, both Rita and Andre were jolted awake by their new realities.